Okay. Ian, are we on? We're live. Okay. Okay. Welcome, everyone, to the Environmental Advisory Council meeting, Radnor Township. I'm Dan Burnham, Chairman. Call to order. First piece of business is for approval of the minutes from the last two meetings, May 15th and June 27th. We had very low attendance, below quorum at those meetings, and so we have a quorum now of 4 souls out of 6. So we should be able to render a verdict on the minutes. Do I hear an approval of the minutes from the
motion to approve?
Okay. Second?
Second.
Motion to approve.
Not to be pedantic from the floor, do we have a quorum yet?
Yes, we have, Dan did say that.
Should announce that to the-
He did. He
Yeah,
did. He said
do
we
have a quorum.
4 out of 6, we have a
All right.
quorum.
I don't always talk loud enough. Now it's loud enough. June 27th meeting minutes. Can I get a request to approve?
Motion to approve?
And second?
Second.
All in favor?
Great. So both meeting minutes are approved.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
There you go.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You'll keep me in order here. Public comment. Anyone wish to make a public comment? Okay. Diana, I'll follow up on your public comments now from last week. First, to remind everyone, Plastics Free July is very much ongoing. Ways for you to reduce your consumption of single-use plastics, not just plastic bags, but plastic bottles and takeout containers and food, particularly meat and fish, plastic packaging from the grocery store. Try to buy in bulk. Try to go to farm supplied, local farm supplied food markets where you can get unpackaged produce and meats. So I think it was actually Diane brought up let's see. Yes, the English ivy in this township is growing up a lot of our trees, as we notice, dark leafy ivy, and Diana Pope has produced a trifold flyer for instructing residents how to remove or at least cut the ivy and kill it at the base of its vine on trees. And this flyer, would like to have it pasted into our website under Earth Eco-Friendly Tips, and also provided as a hard copy at the Wayne Business Association Fall Festival on September 15th. Any other ideas for this flyer, distributing it?
The library.
Library.
Possibly the library.
Okay.
Does the Willows have any, maybe they have something already? If they don't, we can ask them.
Okay. All right.
Can I speak?
Yeah, you can come up.
Yeah.
So in my experience of trying to find
First, sorry, for the record, can you state your name?
Oh,
and
I'm
your-
sorry, yes, of course. Diana Pope, 116 Windermere
Thank
Avenue.
you, Diana.
In my experience of trying to find information about English ivy, I discovered that places I thought would have easy information, in fact, did not. So Jenkins, which I realize is not in Radnor Township, Jenkins Arboretum did not. So some of my colleagues at the League of Women Voters have suggested just seeing if they're interested in a place like that, but also in nurseries, commercial nurseries. Because one of the things addressed is that when you buy cultivars of ivy, if they end up outside one way or another, they end up being converted to the original into this very aggressive plant. So it'd be nice for people to be more aware of that, because it's still totally legal to sell this aggressive plant. So those are my suggestions, but it costs money, obviously, to print the flyer and distribute it. So it could be based on whether they're used or not, you know, how many, just have a few here and there and then see
It
if they
shouldn't cost
disappear.
that much
do some
to
more.
get a color flyer, and we've certainly finalized a flyer.
I wonder if it's also possible, you know, we have the, who's the wonderful lady that does the communications for the township? She does the videos. Molly Gallagher. Maybe Molly Gallagher could do a video for the township channels with someone, an expert from one of these places, or somebody who has already eradicated their property of it, and show people. Because I do think we're also actively trying to move away from paper products and using paper as a resource. And I think that like a, 3-minute video on don't buy this, if you already have it, destroying your trees, this is what you do, could be really effective and push us into the modern age of social media.
Sounds like an excellent idea.
Okay.
Would you provide the material for Molly?
We have a whole tri-fold
No.
document.
Her question and answers and that sort of thing.
Oh, sure.
Okay. I'd recommend that.
Okay. Thank you. I know Sarah Pilling brought up last week, or last time, the traveling glass bin program that is currently active in Haverford Township. And I followed up with Alexis DeSanti, the special project coordinator in Haverford, just how they advertised the traveling glass bin program so as to promote separate recycling of glass in their township. And she used, as you would think, social media, the township social media on their township newsletter, as well as their EAC website. And they have presently a bin at their township building from June 1st to September 6th that is there 24/7. She's estimating they're collecting just short of a ton of glass a week, which and about 3.5 tons in a month. That makes it just break even in terms of saving the township money by reducing the volume of household commingled recycling. That is if there is a discount for their 3-month retention of the bin at the township building. Normally it's a week on, several weeks off, week on, several weeks off. use of the bin. So that may not be as effective in collecting glass. So this is something we need to discuss, just in light of this. Should we try it with, this is the Pennsylvania Resources Council program for traveling glass waste.
Dan, I know that Narberth has also done this because Shift in Narberth has advertised it as well for them. Is this something we would just need to propose to the township to pay for?
Yes, if, I presume we get the information from the PRC, we can then, I presume, Kathy, we, by email,
Dan,
make a
can you
request.
Can you remind us how much the fee is?
I didn't get the fee from Alexis, so that is something that, of course, I would provide.
So the amount depends, whether or not it has to go before the board, will depend on the cost.
Right.
As opposed to it being able to go through Public Works. So that would be an important thing to have to find out.
Right. Yep. Yep, I can easily do that. I send that to you? Okay.
I think it's a great idea. That's my 2 cents, but.
I'm also supportive of doing it with, especially in light of our trash situation in the township.
Me too.
And glass is heavy, and so the poor fellas who take out our recycling are lugging most of the weight is glass. All right.
Can I ask you, when you said our trash situation, what do you mean?
That we're stuck in our Covanta situation, and we have this single stream recycling where a lot of our recycling isn't actually recycled. Yes. So then glass, what is 100% recyclable forever, is usually put in the landfill, even though our residents spend a lot of time separating their recycling. So that's why I would love to have this, at least for a few months or weeks if we can.
Yep. And following up on that, Donnell, Lisa Hollowell, our colleague, has followed up with Republic Services, who handles our recycling, to get information on our recycling, particularly with regard to glass. And she got hold of Charles Noble, who is the operation manager at Republic, and he said that the glass is being recycled by Republic in the township. And then Lisa asked how much recycling actually gets recycled. And he says that currently our residue rate is 11 to 13%. So I presume that means, perhaps by weight, if not volume, what is left after recycling is 11 to 13% of what was originally presented to the waste management facility. So that's heartening to hear. On top of that, Charles has very graciously offered to speak to us as part of our EAC lecture series this fall. Lisa was made the final communication with him about a week or two ago. Actually, no, it was the end of June. So we'll follow up on that and have him speak as part of our EAC lecture series. And that is one question I put to Melissa and you, Kathy, and I think I CC'd you, Donnell, and Eugenia. Just how do we go about scheduling these lecture series? Who do we
So
ask first?
there was
for
a
times?
response that
Yeah.
Ian has the calendar dates. So-
Melissa sent out a lengthy response to your question.
Oh,
So
I-
Ian has the
okay, I must have
meeting
missed that.
schedule and essentially access to the calendar. So previously, what we did with the shift presenters was ask them about we got dates from Ian, like,
Right,
okay, over the next 2 months, what dates are good, and then gave those to the presenters to find a common date that worked.
okay, okay.
And I never got that email either, this email situation.
Yeah, this is another,
I never got
this is
that.
probably
Yeah, I
another
think it
product of the
Either
email.
came out, did it come out yesterday or today? I
Yeah.
saw her
Mhm.
respond.
Okay, I'll look for that, but that's good, then there's a way forward. So that's for one presentation for the lecture series that we'd like to schedule. And was one of you
Me.
leading that effort
Oh.
before?
No, it
the
was like
lecture
kind of
series? Was it-
a shared one. So we were
Okay.
kind of all saying, let's present a speaker and
All
coordinate
right.
with it. So I've done 2 so far.
Okay, sure.
Can you forward that thing from Dan, from Ian, so I know the dates?
There's not dates
Oh,
on
you
it.
didn't put dates on it?
No, it was from Melissa saying that Ian has the
Oh,
dates,
oh,
but there were no dates on the email.
Okay. Yeah. Lisa was also talking to Mike Weinbacher and about a presentation on microplastics.
That was me, yes.
Donnell, I'm sorry,
Yes,
Donnell.
that's okay.
And I'm certainly enthusiastic about it. Do I hear similar enthusiasm from the board, council?
Definitely, definitely.
Okay,
His
so,
fee is slightly higher than what we've paid as an honorarium previously.
right.
It's $300.
Yeah, we have, let's see, we got about 2,300 in the kitty, which will be used for that. And maybe I would ask a second presentation by Mr. Wheelbacher.
So we have, is 2,300, is it like a fiscal, is it January to
It-
December, or is it a,
It's a calendar year.
Is it a calendar
Is that
year?
correct?
Yes.
Kathy? Yeah.
well, that's good.
We also have a couple $100 earmarked for the canopy for the Wayne Business Association. I think it'll be under $200.
Okay, and you're going to purchase that?
Yes.
Canopy?
Mhm.
Great.
I was just delaying the length of the storage.
I understand. Okay. So I'll give Donnell the green light to get Mike after I get availability of weeks from Ian. And the same for Lisa on Charles Noble. And the third presentation, we haven't really talked about, unless someone else has another presentation for the EAC lecture series this fall. No? Okay. There's another one by Michael Wheelbacher. It's called Wild Philly, The Extraordinary Nature of Our Backyard. So I thought this would be a more positive presentation after hearing microplastics. So
And who is he?
he is I don't see much credentials on his website. He is a naturalist.
I
public
think I
speaker.
have his credentials if you
Yeah.
pause. I found out about him through Shift.
Right.
He did a presentation at Shift, and so I reached out to him about doing that. One, he is the founding executive director of the Lower Merion Conservancy.
Mhm.
He's done several terms on the EAC, in Lower Merion, as well as, I'm sure in that capacity, he has additional credentials. He's a naturalist, writer, educator, and consultant.
Yeah. Good. Sounds like one of us. So, do I get the green light from the three of you to approach Michael about Wild Philly?
I'm fine with that. I can ask him for 2 dates.
Me too.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right.
I think that one might be more interesting too for maybe families.
Yes.
And I know we're in the midst of having our high school representative join us for the new year. Maybe if we have it when at this point, I think all of these lectures would be after the school year starts, but I'd love to see the high school's science class offer extra credit or encourage students to come to it.
Which one?
I don't-
Microplastics or backyard?
all of them.
Okay.
But I think they might be more interested in the nature of Philly one, maybe a little less doom and gloom. But I think it would also be a good idea if we can get the attention of any of the colleges to tell them that we're having this lecture series. That's how I got people to attend my stuff when I was planning these in college.
Are these mostly Thursday nights or weeknights?
Yeah, we did mostly weeknights.
An idea I had was for us to do a joint lecture with Shade Tree. They want to
Mhm.
do one, but they're adamant, or not adamant, they have plans, they have nothing planned, but they've talked about something. I can't think if they want to do it on Saturdays.
I mean, I think it's just up to what dates end up being
Yeah.
available. We, I think, did one on a Saturday, and there wasn't a lot of attendance.
Yeah, it's hard especially
Yeah.
in the fall, but I mean, maybe we should start to think about what could we do with them that would serve both of
Mhm.
us.
I think we should alert them that we're approaching Michael about Wild Philly.
Can you take that back to
Yeah,
them?
Yeah.
Okay.
So just back, because the shift, no one else was available, but I
Mhm.
was, came and introduced them, you gave me, and I
Mhm.
worked with them on their background. But it was at 7, and I guess it was a weeknight, but I think it was a little late.
Yeah.
And I
Mhm.
think if we can start it earlier, I
Mhm.
mean, and then I went to the native, the person who came from, I think it was Jenkins.
Yeah.
And that was, there were more people that attended that, and I think that was a Saturday.
Yeah, oh, okay.
So between the two, I missed the Solarize Delco one,
Mhm.
so I'm not sure about that. But those two, I noticed a big difference.
May I ask you, was that in this building on a Saturday? Was that in this building on a Saturday?
Yes.
Really?
So I'm hearing possibly Thursday nights and Saturday evenings, maybe 6 o'clock, 6 p.m.?
I would say 6 and then Saturday I would do it maybe late morning or mid-afternoon. I wouldn't do it Saturday evening.
No.
Yeah, and I think, I think Saturday should be maybe like 11.
11
11
a.m.
or say
Yeah.
2,
Yeah.
something
I
like.
worry about football games and stuff like that, and people who have kids and play soccer and all that. I thought maybe-
Right.
Well, let me see what Shade Tree says, and if you all have any thoughts about it in the next week, because Shade Tree is next week, about something we would like to propose with it, I can give that to them.
Well, they might be interested in the Wild Philly one,
You know,
maybe. Or they can come up with their own, and it can be the Shade Trees
yeah.
lecture during our lecture series.
Yeah, they were going to do it, but it just, I don't know, fell by the wayside.
Okay, so action to Eugenia to contact Shade Tree about perhaps a co-presentation, one of which would
Mhm.
be Wild Philly, Extraordinary Nature of Our Backyard. And Dan would be action to contact Ian about the schedule of available times.
It would be great if we could have these times and dates prior to the September Wayne Business Association
Yes.
Festival, so that that can be part of our handout.
Good point.
And if I can get them by August 22nd, I think it is, 22nd or 25th, they'll make it into the next Radnor News magazine.
Okay. So, okay. So, Lisa would contact Charles Noble at Republic Services about recycling, scheduling him based on Ian's schedule. And I can contact Michael
Oh,
about.
I can do it, Dan, if you have other stuff, since I've
Well, if
already,
okay, if you
been
want
in
to
touch with him.
contact, that's great. If you want to contact Michael about microplastics.
yes.
And
Mhm.
also Wild Philly after
Yes.
you learn from Eugenia. Okay.
Here's an idea too. Might we, one of the things, if we share something with Shade Tree, might part of it be a discussion or this video on the ivy?
Mm.
Yes,
I mean,
that's worth mentioning.
Yeah.
I do have a Google Doc of the flyer that, and you should have it as well.
And Dinah, you would speak at that? Or would somebody, I was thinking at Shade Tree, we might have, a couple of speakers on various topics that have to do with trees and environmental issues. And one of our speakers that we promote might be talking about the ivy on trees.
So if you can't find anyone else, I mean, but I suspect you probably could, because
Okay.
they're arborists.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay,
I live in an apartment, I don't have trees, I can, say I did
Okay.
this.
but we'll also have this small video by then, right? Maybe?
Maybe, yeah.
Does it have to be a video, or
No.
could it be even just?
I'm sure we can
I-
find an arborist to talk about it. I
Or we
don't
could just
think
have
there's-
slides and
A
somebody
s-
can
a
talk about
slide,
it. Okay,
it's basically a 3-column landscape page,
okay.
and then another 3-column landscape page.
Yeah, we were
with
just
pictures.
talking about maybe having a live discussion about it. But Kathy, I remember last year at a township meeting that there was a pilot program to manage more of the township's trees. Do you recall this?
I was not on the board
Oh,
last
okay.
year, but it is always an ongoing discussion.
Yes. So maybe we can follow up with where they stand with that, because I know that there are people that are in charge of kind of tree remediation in the township.
So that would be Ricky Foster, who's
Mhm.
head of Public Works. And in fact, this past Monday, we had a presentation of maybe amending our shade tree ordinance
Hmm.
to protect the canopy. It was a presentation by the Shade Tree Commission with their suggestions on altering the, amending.
I mean, one of the topics could simply be, where is Radnor in view of the shade trees? The Shade Tree Commission, the township is about to start a big program of all the parks, getting rid of the most dangerous trees and
Yeah.
then pruning others, and that's a big several-year program, so maybe that could be discussed. I mean, just sort of where are we in the whole thing? Okay.
So potentially a 3-part presentation with Shade Tree and EAC, the first about Wild Philly
Oh, I think that would have to be its own.
and.
Yeah.
Right, Dan?
Hmm?
Wild Philly would be its own,
Mhm.
but Eugenia's talking about maybe 3 speakers during one lecture that covered different tree topics. That's what she's talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And one of them could be English ivy, one could be the state of the Radnor canopy, and somebody else could talk about eco-friendly yards. I don't know. Yeah. But let us know what Shade Tree says, Eugenia. Thank you.
Okay.
What is next on our agenda here?
All right. I had suggested Bill Motley's Trash and Burn film about the Covanta incinerator pollution. And I briefly talked with Kathy Agnew before this meeting about presenting this. And it is a little problematic because we are a township group, and the township has a active contract with, well, the county, Delaware County has an active contract with Covanta. So I want to investigate this a little further just to see how long the contract is with Covanta. It's no longer called Covanta now, it's something else.
30 years.
And just see if they're within our lifetimes. We could mount a education program about what goes on down there to dissuade maybe county-wide another contract from being renewed. So I'll do that. Okay, the Green Team update, there's really no change with regard to getting the EV charging stations updated. The upgrades to the municipal building energy systems is still waiting for comments back from the consultant on the practical energy design for the beginnings, for the buildings. And the LED streetlight project is 57% completed, but they're waiting for some additional Cobra headlamps to be installed to complete installing LED streetlights.
Dan, quick question.
Yeah.
The municipal EV charging stations, is that for the residents to use, or is that just for the township?
That's a good question. I believe it will be open to the township. There'll be more than one station, but we do have presently 2 F-150 Lightnings pickups that are special service vehicles for the police.
Because it's my understanding that there are no charging stations in Radnor. The closest one, because I happen to have an electric car, so I know.
Yeah.
The closest one is King of Prussia, way out by that big Target, and that seems ridiculous.
There was one at the Radnor train station, I thought,
No,
but that was
no.
years ago.
They're used, I don't know if they're available for public use, but there's EV charging stations at this apartment building complex right here.
Yeah. So, good point, Carol.
You can go to Mom's, they have charging, but, Mom's Market.
Okay.
There is
So-
one in the parking lot, it's called Main Technologies, right on Lancaster Avenue beside the Wisfis Bank, the old Bryn Mawr Trust. They have 1 or 2 in their parking lot as well.
Just down here,
Yeah, right on Lancaster Avenue.
for the public to use?
It's in their parking lot. I mean, you have to pay, so I
Yeah,
can't speak to that it is for the public, but I don't know why not.
So this underscores the challenge of wide adoption of EVs is having public charging stations available enough so that everyone who may not have a home station always available can purchase a electric vehicle. Okay.
Mulchless perennials plantings.
Yes, yeah, so who can do an update on that? Sven isn't here.
Oh, well, I went with him to Chanticleer,
Mm-hmm.
and we met with the director and some of his people and walked all around, and I think the bottom line is that they would work with us, but Sven was supposed to connect them with, is it Ricky that's in charge of?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the missing link. So that was going to happen. And I think the other thing is that.
It did. I think I believe Sven met with Rick and Mr. Foster and Ms. Cohen, the Director of Parks and Rec, last
Oh.
week.
Okay, I was hoping Sven would be here. I know he travels, but,
We can save the rest of the update for next month, I guess, if we don't have him.
right.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, they were definitely interested. I don't think we're gonna get them to divide up the money. That wasn't really a discussion point.
No. All right. Well, thanks, Jane. Carol.
Carol.
I have Jane in the. Okay. So we've done lecture series and
Eco-friendly yard?
now, Kathy, you did receive approval from the Public Information Office for Donnell to post EAC lectures on the township social media sites, correct?
I asked, and of course, it was in of course, but there's nothing in writing. If
Yeah,
that's,
I
if you're
mean-
looking for an email? Is that what you mean, or?
It's really up, like, even if I send it, they still have to post it. So that's the barrier, is that,
So you want me to write in to Molly Gallagher and say, just a reminder, we talked about this, and
okay.
is that what you're
I-
asking? I'm not sure what you're asking.
I don't know what Dan was asking exactly.
Well, there was an action item for you, Kathy, to contact the Public Information Office to confirm that Donnell could post EAC lectures on the township social media sites.
Okay, I spoke with her. What I will do, though, to make it more official, is send her an email.
Okay.
All right.
It'd be great if, when she says yes, if you copy me, just so we're connected. 'cause
Well, I'll
I've
just
never-
copy you from the get-go.
Okay,
So,
great.
all right, what is your, can you just tell me your email address?
It's my last name, JAGEMANDS@gmail.com.
Great. Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
I think it's not that just posting them, but I really wanted us to like maybe make them an event on Facebook so people could RSVP to it, and then it adds it to their calendar on their phone, and then they remember and they get updates and they can see the time and the place. I think that's what we were trying to get to.
Okay, so this is the better thing to do. I'll remind her that we spoke, that they
Okay.
would post it. I certainly didn't describe it in that
Yeah.
manner, and then that she will take it up with you.
Yeah, that's fine. I just
Okay.
wanted to clarify with everyone because they have been shared like on like Instagram occasionally, but we want to get it more out there so that people remember to go and it's clear what it is and that it's a series. So I look forward to speaking with her about it.
So past EAC lectures would be posted on the social media sites as well as an invitation for
We couldn't
upcoming-
post the past ones.
You couldn't post the past
No,
ones?
those will have to just be on our website.
Okay, all right, but there could be a cross-reference too.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Here's Sven.
okay.
It's Sven.
It's
We were
Sven,
just talking about you,
yeah.
and you appeared.
Well, before you get comfortable, why don't you come up to the podium, introduce yourself, and give us an update on the
Plantings.
plantings.
Planting projects, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you all. My name is Sven Detlefs. I live here in Chamonix Roads. So the updates. I met with the township, with Tammy, who is the parks officer.
Parks
yeah,
and Rec?
Exactly, Parks and Recreation, and with Ricky, who does maintenance, and with Steve, who does the lawn mowing and parks maintenance for the township. And we discussed two topics. One is the perennial planting in the township, and Ricky proposed to pick some areas in the business district, so right in the city center. So I have to follow up with him exactly which areas, because there are plenty of them. And that's a to-do on my side. And then we discussed the mowing or no-mow areas, in which parks. We identified 2 or 3 areas where Steve would welcome the idea that the city does not do lawn mowing there, because it saves him some work. It's also not suitable for that because it's either too wet or for other reasons. And then we would basically start a test. How does it work out for the city? I proposed, of course, that they talk to the people at Chanticleer, because the directors there offered that they talk with the township about their experience with no lawn mowing, and they will most likely follow up on it. So this is where we stand, and yeah, I think we make progress.
Great.
Thank you.
So we'll hear an update in August on potential areas where you could actually start planting in the township.
Yes, yes. I have one question on the, I mean, if you plant in some areas perennials, or if people in the township do more of the planting that was initiated by the perennial giveaway, is there any idea to do a tree giveaway in the fall again? Yeah?
Excuse me, there is, I'm on the Shade Tree Committee, and we have a number of plantings this fall, giveaways and plantings too.
Yeah, because we could, of course, everybody who wants a tree, give also 3 perennials, and then they have, let's say, more of it. You can plant a tree and you plant some perennials next to it, it's always good. So I will come back to you, yeah? Thank you.
Okay, eco-friendly yard signs. I'm not aware of any requests for, from the community to visit their homes. Has anyone here been invited?
Well, I gave out 2, but that was
Right.
through official request.
Yeah.
And I've seen some, which is great when I,
Yeah.
oh, that's one of our signs.
I gave out 2 in June as well.
I would love to have one displayed at the Wayne Business Association. If somebody has like a pot with some plants in it that aren't not native. I only have potted herbs right now, but we could stick one up in a pot of dirt and have it.
I'm sure I can figure out something.
Okay, that would be great. Because I think it would be nice to, even if people don't have eco-friendly yards, they may have seen the sign. And so then we can, if they say, oh, I've seen that sign, this is where it comes from, and then it's an opportunity to talk to them about it. I think that would be great. And then also if people do, we can offer to come visit them and give them their sign.
And we gave out, we had the flyer at the last fall festival. So we gave out the flyer, and we had a sample, but, we didn't have it sticking in a pot, so I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Do you know how many we've given out to date?
No.
I wish we had kept better track of it. We should have put everybody's address, and maybe there's a way to ask Margie, and kind of maybe somebody could scour the emails to do it. Yeah, I can't personally offer to do that at this time, but.
They can contact Margie.
But
Okay.
the other thing is we have pictures that we took, and I've sent them to Melissa, but for some reason, I don't know that they're going up.
No,
I
I've
know
never
initially
seen
there
any
was some
posted.
Discussion about you had to have approval or whatever, and sign-offs and this and that, but I've sent the pictures each time, but. And some of them are really nice pictures, too.
Yeah, people do have nice yards. But maybe if we
I can get you a flag.
see what Margie has from her, maybe she kept records of it, and if not, we can try to search through the emails, and multiple people would probably have to do it based on the email trends here.
Okay, so I'll wait for your email.
But we should have a whole list.
We'll keep it going.
I think it has to be several dozen. Margie will at least know how many she's ordered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point. I never stole that.
Okay, the Great American Backyard Campout, I understand was a success. Ray isn't here to confirm that. Anyone else who was present at the Willows, June 1st? Okay. Gas blower phase-out. I've got down stakeholders. This is a initiative that is going to take a long time.
We're moving to new business, everyone. We gotta tell
Yes.
everybody, yeah.
Hold
on, Dan.
Yes.
So are you aware that the Board of Health for the township is also working on this?
No. Good for
Oh,
them.
we are.
Well, be in touch with them.
Thank you.
That's very helpful. Thank you, Diana.
If you couldn't hear, Diana said that the county's Board of Health is also working on the township's Board of Health, excuse me, thank you.
There's no Township Board of Health. There's a
Yeah.
Board of Health that's like a commission like the EAC, but the actual Board of Health moved to the county. Kind of advisory board sort of thing is?
Okay, the Health Advisory Board for the township is also working on this, thank you.
All right. Good. So I think our first order of business that we are agreeing to with my straw man proposal 2 months ago was that we would approach stakeholders at this point. That primarily, to start with, are the landscape companies, as well as the Department of Public Works. Just get feedback on the whole idea of at least phasing out gas leaf blowers and replacing them with electric leaf blowers, or, in my mind, a broom and a rake. So what does people think about that?
Well, I think that's a start, because, I mean, I was impressed with the number of places in the country that have been successful. We had, I forget, somebody sent out something and talked about the various areas and where they've actually been able to enact it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's baby steps. There was definitely going to be a lot of resistance with these big lawn companies, but
Yes.
you got to start somewhere.
Did we find out where like a Villanova stands?
No,
On it?
that's another
Yeah,
stakeholder. I would rather we start with, actually the first one be the sustainable landscape companies. Just what do they realistically capable of doing? If you have a client with 7 acres of grass, how are they going to mow and clean up sustainably that size of landscape? So we need to be aware of what the limitations and the strengths are of our solution first before going to the conventional landscape companies and their clients.
Dan, should we, before we start reaching out, I think we should make a list of all the stakeholders on a shared document maybe, and so that we can be more methodical about collecting the feedback.
Well, fine. Why don't you draft
I can draft the
list.
list, yeah.
Thank you.
I'm not gonna, I'll start the document.
Right.
But we'll all have to work together to put the stakeholders on it.
Okay.
I mean, number one should be the township.
Mm-hmm.
Well, again, I want to be able to know how far we can push things, and that depends on the capability of the technology that we have now. So yes, we definitely go to the township and other folks, but I would submit we first talk to the sustainable companies. Okay. I got emails from 2 residents about our ban. I was mentioning during our native plant pickup last fall to people coming by to pick up their plants that we were talking about a ban on gas leaf blowers. And this one individual said that he's concerned about the impact on landscaping services outside of Radnor if we were to enact a ban just in Radnor. And I understand that entirely. That makes sense, and that's why we may have to work in conjunction with other townships and even the county to get this realistically put in place and gradually. That's my take on that. A second individual said that the fall is going to present a challenge because of the large volume of leaves in our township, thanks to our beautiful trees and the Shade Tree Commission. He was suggesting we allow leaf blowers with cleaner four-cycle gas engines during spring and fall periods, during these high-volume cleanup periods. So he's asking that we consider this as a compromise until battery technology improves further. So it's, I think, very reasonable comments from these two residents.
And I'm sure there's examples of other places, and probably through our connections, we can get an example of the total ordinance, and they're probably posted online, and I'd be interested in, Lisa's expertise and
Yes.
how we can phase something, so that
Yeah.
we're not, having people throw away
Right.
operational.
And Penn
equipment.
Environment does have sample ordinances.
Yeah.
Now, there has been, I forget the township, it was a local, Narberth, or was putting in a ban, and there was a strong pushback against the ordinance. So this is what we want to avoid. We want everyone to be aware we're thinking of an ordinance, or at least at this township level, and get their feedback first. Okay. So the Wayne Business Association Fall Festival, September 15th. We're going to have a canopy there, thanks to Donnell. And now I understand Ray has the EAC banner. I'm going to have to follow up with him to make sure he does have that. Have you heard mention of an EAC banner?
Yeah, there is one.
Okay.
Yes, I was there last year, and I think because it started raining or something, he took it.
All right.
And we also, gave out in like these little envelopes that I had ordered, sunflower seeds with stickers.
Okay.
So I don't know if we want to do that again.
I think it's great. Of course, it's fall, but I'm actioning the EAC to email me suggestions for what to have on our table. I've put out some suggestions already, like the flyers on English ivy and gas leaf blowers, cold climate heat pumps, EAC lecture series titles, eco-friendly yard. So we'll want to make a good show there. And any other ideas about pulling people in? I'm not an ad man.
What the seeds did, what the kids.
Yeah.
And the kids loved the seeds and the stickers, and that brought the parents over. So
Okay.
we were able to talk to them.
I also, the first year that we did it, we had a raffle basket from Good Harvest Farms. It was actually gifted that year. I had asked Chris, the owner, to gift that, and Ray had gotten some coffee. Since we have funds now, though, perhaps we create a raffle basket of our own. And not a paid raffle, just come over, talk to us, you can enter to win this basket of local produce or, you know, whatever we want to put in it. I think that would be great, and everybody loves free stuff, and it would probably be like $50.
Yeah, go to the farmer's market. Great idea, Donnell. All right.
That's actually how Lisa came to be on the EAC.
Oh, so very productive.
Yes.
All right. So I'll look for your emails, folks.
And Dan, also, what we can do, and I'm willing to start this email chain up, is start doing time signups. So we'll need, it's from noon to 4 p.m.,
Right.
but we'll need a setup person, tear down person, and hopefully we can do like maybe 2-hour shifts that are kind of like overlapping. It's kind of hard to be there by yourself.
Sure.
So now that there's 6 of us, hopefully we can each cover
Right.
a period of time.
I don't recollect the time we were to have it open.
It's noon to 4.
Noon to 4.
Yeah, but I don't know what time the setup is.
Okay. Well, I live 3 blocks from there, so I could definitely do setup. I'm going to
Okay.
be bringing table and chairs and a tablecloth, if that makes sense. You said you would also bring clips,
Yes.
because we'll have
On
high
my
winds.
shopping list are clips and the canopy.
Great. All right. And, all right, so I'll look for your suggestions. Thanks, folks. Last, just announcing, We Conserve PA Regional EAC Fall Gathering. So this is an important gathering of local EACs. It's going to be at 5th of October at Temple University in Ambler. More details to follow, but it's a good area to coordinate efforts across EACs. The last thing is there is an EPA Region 3 Waste Infrastructure Grant that is available. Applications are due August 3rd. It would dovetail very well with our interest in upgrading our yard waste composting to include food waste. So who would champion this by communicating with Melissa? I was not involved in the composting effort prior to being chair, so.
We did have Mother Compost come.
Yes.
Right.
And we talked about it and
I
got
remember
pricing and.
yeah, there was some initial conversation, I think, but I'm not sure what happened with it, about the township hosting a drop-off bin, which I believe Haverford is now doing, maybe, where there's a bin for residents to use at their township and hosted by Mother Compost. And actually, Haverford Township is offering 4 free months of composting through Mother Compost to his residents. So I'd love to continue to explore that, but maybe we delay that and for another couple of months since we have a lot going on right now.
Okay, I understand. Just that the applications for the
Yeah,
grant are due August 30th.
I'll have
So-
to look at the grant again to see if something like that would work.
All right, Donnell, I'll email
Okay.
information on
Maybe
the
Lisa can
grant
help
to
me.
you. And also Melissa. One thing Melissa became aware of is the upgrade to our municipal building energy systems can be supported by a Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection grant, a MORE grant. And Melissa is actually looking at applying for this grant to support the work, the design put forward by Practical Energy Solutions for upgrading our municipal building energy systems. So that's another grant that may come to fore. Thank you, Donnell. Public comment?
I don't want to drag this out. We're already at 7. I wanted to ask one question because you had the League of Women Voter Delaware County Environmental Clearinghouse
Yes.
on the agenda, but you didn't mention it.
Yes, okay. That's part of my interest in upgrading our EAC website. We have a lot of old information on there that's 10 to 12 years old. A lot of it good, but it may not be current. So one of those is a reference to the League of Women Voters, but not to the clearinghouse, to the
To that link, yeah, which would be wonderful. It's
Yes.
a really great website.
Yep.
One other thing, just they, rather than spelling out Delaware County, they just use caps
I
for
say Delco.
Delco
Right.
Environmental Clearinghouse. But that would be fantastic, having a link. I think that link works. I thought I found it on there.
Well, I see a link to the League of Women Voters, but not
No.
within that
Okay.
home. I have to go to, actually,
The
Delco
second
and-
thing, I just wanted to comment on things to do in the fall with the leaves. So one of the things is instructional. There are other things you can do with leaves. You can cut them up and use them as mulch rather than blowing them, picking them up, putting them over somewhere behind.
Yes.
One of the reasons why that's not popular in the township is because the township collects them, turns them into mulch, and people can pick it up for free
Got
at
it.
our designated spaces. So I think that the people rely on the collection and then the township doing the mulching.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
though I
mulch
can
that I see
see,
put down does not look like ground up leaves.
I think it all gets mixed up with other yard waste at
it's
Stone
almost,
Hollow.
right, it's almost topsoil. I mean,
Yeah,
when I
okay.
use it,
Well, anyway.
but no,
that's
your
already
point's
done.
well taken, Diana, because there are still plenty of leaves that you could, when they first fall on your yard, you could just mow your lawn with that light cover and mulch and feed your lawn. But as you may get overwhelmed with leaves, it's certainly reasonable then to take them
Right.
down to the curb to get
Absolutely.
picked up.
Yeah. The last thing, I sent an email a couple days ago with a little PowerPoint presentation. Does this look familiar? You were talking about not getting emails. I just did it to the EAC email. So it's in the spirit of
Oh, yes.
reducing waste. And this is, again, I can credit Roberta Winters for letting me know about this. This comes from New Jersey, and they actually have an ordinance, and the idea is simply to, and I am not recommending an ordinance. I think it's a public education issue, that's a win-win for businesses, restaurants that have takeout,
Yep.
and they routinely put a lot of one-time use things, accessories, in bags, and this initiative is simply to make it an opt-in, where the customer has to ask for what they want. And New York has also done it, also with laws, and they have gotten to the point where you can't package fork, knife, and spoon in a plastic wrapper. They have to be individual, all those kinds of things. But it would go a huge distance to reduce that little kind of waste that ends up in stormwater and out on beaches and who knows what. Anyway, the suggestion is simply to consider this again as a public education thing. It's beautifully would fit, I think, with high school students, because they could actually, because there are these different signs, different people have come up with. This is from Reno, Nevada, and they do only a public education and encouragement, and it's a public education initiative. But students could do it for Wayne, have a contest, and then it's a simply question of letting businesses know, and then the businesses post a sign, and we're all kind of figuring out how to navigate that in the world. So anyway, it's another project, but
I think it's a great one, and I love.
Diane, may I ask you, when did, I was looking for my emails, I don't see it. Do you know when you sent
yeah,
it?
I just sent it to the.
It was
only
Monday.
The EAC.
Yeah.
But I'm having a problem because I am supposed to get the EAC. I'm supposed to be in that
Yeah, well,
list.
they haven't gotten it either.
Yeah.
No, I got it on Monday.
I got it.
Yeah, I have a copy of it here. It
Oh,
says
okay.
it was sent to environmental.
Let me see
So
if I can forward it to
environmental
you,
is the
Kathy.
issue. It's not meaning everybody on the council.
I just forwarded it to you, Kathy, so you should have
Yeah.
it now.
Thank you.
I think it's a great idea, and I think this would be a great project for our student ambassador to take on, for the record. And we're selecting a new one soon. We've done the interviews for it, so it's a Radnor Township High School student. I think the poster contest is a great idea. And I also think that it's great to propose it as an education initiative over an ordinance. I think that the plastic bag ordinance is, even though that was 2022, if you can believe it, still has left a little bit of a taste in people's mouth. And there are also some takeout places that do ask already. So it's really just part of adding that to their menu online.
Yeah.
And I think this is great. Thank you for sending that, Diane.
Thank you, Diana.
I just looked online and found some other, so this
Okay.
actually is related to a legal.
Any other comments?
Ordinance, which I agree. I don't
Okay.
think it's the law, 'cause I think,
Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.